Welcome back to Eyez Photos Industry Talk. Let's discuss my creative business coaching style. Now, what is my business coaching style as a creative and for creatives, creative entrepreneurs? It's a good question. But I want to put it out there. When I'm coaching and mentoring others, my words and feedback are about the actions and outcome rather than the person, individual, or company. I am doing it in the need of the goal at hand. If you are doing good work, keep doing it. But if you're not, I will call you out on it. You want this goal, but the actions are not leading up to you getting the goal. And we both know that. We gotta come up with a change, a solution. I'm always creatively problem solving, thinking of solutions, thinking how can things be better. So if you tell me you want this goal, you really want to do something, you really want this, you want this outcome, this result, but you're not going in the direction, the route, the steps that's needed to get there, so yeah, I will have to call you out. But if you're doing good work, like I said, keep doing the good work. I encourage the good work. We celebrate the good work and keep going, Make it a habit of doing good work. Turn it to great work. Turn it to amazing work. Have it keep evolving. Eliminate distractions and let us focus on the needs done. Excuse me. Eliminate the distractions and let us focus on the work that needs to be done effectively. I'll just get a sip of water before I continue. But, with that being said, emotions blur judgment. Gotta stay hydrated. I remember when one of my old basketball coaches used to tell me, keep my arms straight. I was semi-stuck in the method and the habit of shooting, my own way. It took me longer to adjust. I would just do the opposite almost. I'm like, I'm doing it right. That's how you showed me. But I guess last minute, or I do it, then last minute, oh, almost. But I don't know. I was young, and sometimes I would twist my wrists instead of flicking my wrists. I was just slightly twisted instead of flicking and keeping my arm straight. Elbow probably outer than it need to be. So yeah, it was some things I had to learn. Some things that I definitely took in and still remember and I appreciate. But yeah, that simple principle stuck with me. And now that I'm much older and just started back playing basketball every now and then, you know how I be. You gotta ease into it. The reminder of the foundation of shooting. That little memory is a reminder for the foundation of shooting. And the things that we learn, that's simple, that's basic, can really change outcomes, our lives. It could be that little tweak of the fundamentals, of the basics, could get you a long way. Sometimes you don't need the big, grandiose things, the lavish things, the newest thing. What is working? What is working? And that should always be the goal. What is working and how it is improving. Those two things. Now, like I said, that principle of that basketball shooting, keeping my arms straight, stuck with me for all these years. An old lesson from my basketball coach, Myron Jackson. And maybe it's a Jackson thing, you know. I'm Steve Jackson, also known as Photographer Jackson. Many call me Alien for my brand, Alienized Photos, media, and then also former musician, Alien Eye Player. You can catch my music on all streaming platforms and alieneyeplayer.com. But yeah, I'm very appreciative, you know, years and years later. I am certainly shooting the basketball better than I was in school. It's a testimony of how much of a student I am for everything that I pursue and engage relentless on getting better, improving. I also had a chance to coach at the YMCA for 2 summers straight, to volunteer and coach the NBA Cavs Junior, AYW or YMCA. I think it was both though. YMCA hosted a program sponsored by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still coach, but now it's creative entrepreneurs, and you could be one of them. Be sure to reach out and let me know what you need help with. And, you know, I'm a laid-back person, but when it's showtime and, you know, change needs to happen, and with change comes the transformation. When you make it a habit, and habit, you make it concrete, and be consistent, and never change, and keep doing your thing. But having that peace, which I preach a lot, you know, never let anyone or anything disrupt your inner peace. Never ever let anyone, not even yourself, disrupt your inner peace, as we can sometimes get in each other's way, our own self way, be a blockage for our own self, our own reflection, our own goals, our own thoughts, our own movements. You know, we could really get in the way and you know, stop and block ourselves. You know, but I've learned a lot through being an artist, being an entrepreneur, being in so many rooms, being in so many industries, around so many industries, networked with so many industries. You know, did video production and photography for so many industries, shaking hands with people in different industries. Always, you know, kept that creative mindset. You know, it's also fueled by my entrepreneurship. because let's be real, I just want to create and, locked in the studio, locked in writing, locked in filming, content creating, building, using my imagination to come up with something brilliant, something beautiful, inspiring, impactful. That's what I love using my creativity on. And that's what, most creatives want to focus on. Most artists, creatives want to focus on. But it got to be fueled by the entrepreneurship. You got to love it so much that the business part of it is just like one cohesive circle. It all runs together. And I encourage any and all creative artists to have that entrepreneur mindset. And I have episodes on the entrepreneurial mindset, that growth mindset that's needed to step into becoming a creative entrepreneur. I'm a creative, so, I don't have to be one-dimensional, but I can. We can make it a creative function and really get you on a path that needs you. Get you on a path that needs you. So, I'm about to get up out of here. Gotta eat dinner. It's been a long day. I've been putting a lot of work in, catching up on work. But, yeah, I know I'm kind of having inquiries on, my coaching. So I just want to put it out there on my coaching style in advance. I'm very laid back, but I'm wise, resilient, easy to work with. And hey, I've been through some things. And you can find more information on Alien Eyez Photos Media at alieneyesphotos.com. That's Alien Eyes with a Z, Photos with a S.com. And follow on all social media at Alien Eyez Photos, at Alien Eyez Photos. And also follow Creative Frequency on a Creative Frequency on YouTube and all social media at on a Creative Frequency. Join me in, I call her Lady B. That's her artist name, doing the music. And again, mine was Alien I Player, but then I later integrated Alien. If anybody know the story of the Super Team Poetry, then you know how that came about. But yeah, we, really want to encourage other creatives on being creative. So if you need that extra inspiration on being creative or, getting focused on doing the work, also check out On a Creative Frequency. That you got to be on a creative frequency to get, things that's coming from the stratosphere out of nowhere, painting that blank canvas. But yeah, check us out on a creative frequency. And again, seek out coaching, seek out mentorship. Even if it's not with me, find somebody that relates to your style, complements your style, complement your learning style. Somebody that's going to push you and help you get the results. You can have more than one coach, more than one mentor in different parts of your life. So be open to it. Be open for the growth. Be open for the criticism and, constructive criticism, I should say. We're always here to help and encourage you to do the work because only you can do the work. We can only help guide you and lead you the way, but at the end of the day, it all falls on you putting the work in. So just remember that. All right, y'all. Peace. Photographer Jackson, I am out. Alienized Photos Industry Talk. This is my coaching style, y'all.